Hi everybody, Stephanie with SimplyFun here, and welcome to March Mathness. This month, we celebrate all things math. Glow Spotters is an adorable introduction to addition. So, to start out each round, one player rolls the dice here, and then everybody grabs that number of fireflies. So if we grab a 1, we can use this key here, and it's going to tell us that blue is the fireflies with just 1. So we would take that, and we would place it onto any one of our boards. And everybody has their own special set so that everybody has numbers 1 through 10. I'm going to put this here, and then play would continue where the next player then gets to roll the dice as well. Now, once you fill up your board, you then get to say 1 plus 3 equals 4. And then you'd get to put those tiles back and set this one aside because it's completed. And then you'd flip over a new card. Now, what's really cool about this game is it shows kids that there are different ways to add up to 4. We can do 2 plus 2 or 4 plus 0. And each one of these puzzles is actually different. You can see that this is the green set right here. They all have the green eyes. Then we have a different set, and there's different configurations of these. So there's going to be like fun puzzle work as well. The first person to get through all of their cards wins the game. In Talon, we are trying to help fill up the moving van with boxes. So everybody gets 4 cards to start out with, and player 1, the first player, will lay down a card, and you can see that there are boxes on there. So there should be 10 boxes on this card for the number 10, and then you would draw a new one. Play continues clockwise, each player adding a new card, and then adding that total, 10 plus 5. We're trying to get to 21 without going over it. Play keeps going until somebody actually does reach that total. They would then get to keep that entire stack of cards, and a new round would start. At all times, players should have 4 cards in their hands. Once all the cards are gone, the game ends and you see who has the most cards. Now for an easier game, you can add up to 11 instead of 21 and just take out all the number 10 cards. For a more challenging play, use this dice, and on each round you would add up to a different number. Shore Seekers is an adorable game that works on all sorts of different math skills. You are trying to make it around this island to get to this nice sandy spot to lay your eggs. So on your turn, you're going to roll the dice, and depending on what you roll, you can either stay with that number or keep rolling. Now, you never want to roll more than 7, because if you roll more than 7, you end up having to go all the way backwards back to the coral reef. Now with the 1, I would take a chance and I would roll again. There I'd have 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. But I wouldn't move 4 spaces. I would get to move 4 times 2 dice. So I'd get to move 8 spaces. Now if I wanted, I could keep going and keep rolling. What if I rolled a 3? That would equal 7, right? But I wouldn't move 7. I would move 7 times 3 dice. So I'd get to move 21 spaces. Well, there happened to be 21 spaces on the board, so I'd get to make it all the way around the board. In doing so, I would pass this 21 spot and be able to pick up a card. All the cards have different numbers on them, okay? At the end of the game, whoever has the most eggs wins. What's really neat is that if you land on a spot where that's already occupied, you actually get to hitch a ride with them until your next turn. Acorn Paws is a great introduction to division. We play this game in 7 rounds because there are 7 of these cute little bags with all these acorns in them. Each bag has a different number of acorns. So you work together to count out to see how many acorns are in the bag or on the table at this point. And I like to divvy them up in piles of 5. So we have 5, 10, then 13 acorns here. So everybody has their own set of cards as well. During each round, you have 5 cards in your hand, and you get to choose which card you're going to play. And you're going to place that face down on the table. Once everybody has their card selected, you flip them over at the same time to see what everybody played. Now, I played the squirrel, which means this guy is going to come rolling over to me, and he's going to collect all the remainders, which I'll explain in a minute. All of these other acorns are going to be divided up not by the players, but by how many paws there are. So here we have 5 different paws. So we have to come up with an equation together to see, to to figure out how many acorns each paw gets, okay? So we have 13 acorns, and we have 5 paws. So each of these paws is going to get 2 acorns. But then there are still 3 left. And since I have the squirrel, I get to keep all those. I get to keep collecting all these remainders until somebody else plays the squirrel card. Then this little guy is gonna go to him, and he gets to start collecting the acorns, the leftovers, okay? Once all the rounds are completed, whoever has the most acorns wins the game. In Top the Stack, we are practicing our knowledge of measurements. So there are 3 different groups of tiles that we can play with. We can do volume, metric length, or US standard length. Right now, I have it set up for volume. You divvy up the tiles so that everybody has the same number of tiles, and you lay them face down in front of you. Everybody's going to be playing at the same time. You'll flip over your tiles to take a peek at them one by one, and as soon as you find one that has the smallest measurement on it, you'll put it in the middle. You'll keep going through your tiles, and if you find another one that is the next smallest, you can stack that on top. If you find another small one, you'll put that in the middle. And you're gonna keep stacking up these tiles, trying to get rid of them. The first person to only have 3 tiles left shouts top the stack and wins the game. Math Medalist is actually 2 different games in one. This first side is Field of Hundreds, where we are trying to lay tiles to add up to 100. And then that helps move us around the track, around the game board here. So this move right here would actually be invalid. Even though I make a match of 100, the colors on this side don't match, so I can't play that. But all these tiles are 2-sided, so we flip it over. Here I'm matching all my colors correctly, and I've got 90 plus 10, which is 100, so it's a valid play. But I also matched this side to 100 for 70 plus 30. So if I were to only have matched one side, I would just move the 90 spaces. But because I matched both of them, I can move 160. The player who makes it the furthest around the game board, once the game board is filled, wins this game. Now, if we want to flip the game board over, we can play the multiplication zones. So you can see that this is actually a multiplication table. The goal here is to control as many of the zones as you can by placing the most markers in the zone. How you place the markers is you're going to be using these multiplication cards, and it's just numbers, but the product of the cards played determines where you get to place one of these markers. The winner of the game is the player who controls the most zones. So if you have more of your markers in this zone than any other player, you claim this zone. If you claim the most zones, you win this game. Also on sale this month is Shapewiz, which is a game of speed and geometry where you're matching up all these different shape cards to all these different problem cards. Okay? Then we also have Sticks and Stunts, which is on sale, which is great for a big group of people. You can work in teams or just groups, and it's got a little bit of everything in it for us. Everything for everybody. There's trivia, there's memory games, there is some math, and there's like also these little building challenges with these teeny tiny little blocks. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at SimplyFun with Steph.